I'm drowning in something and I can't come out. Just show me loving, I need your loving. Me, myself, ain't enough. It's like being a doctor to a crushing heart. I want you to know how bad it hurts. You keep it beside along my heart. Oh, 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 are you dreaming of me now? The way I do. Oh, 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 are you dreaming of me now? The way I do. Hold me, lover. I need you, lover. 'Cause I'm falling in too quickly and I can't break free. Just hold me, lover. I need you, lover. Me, myself, ain't enough. It's like being alone in a crashing car. I need you to know how bad it hurts. Hearing the sound of my broken heart. Oh, 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 are you dreaming of me now? The way I do. Oh, 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 are you dreaming of me now? The way I do.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How we all doing on this beautiful Money Tuesday? Welcome back, traders. How are we doing today? I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to get to work, and I'm excited to lock in some big time profits with you guys. Who is ready? Who is fired up? Who is ready to attack this day? Woo, man, I'm very excited if you guys can't tell. So hit me with a big old alpha day trading. Good morning. Again, who's with us today? Who is ready to attack this day? Who is ready to lock in those amazing profits, team? I'm excited to see what we have in store and, again, make it happen with the best team out there. So welcome back. Happy Money Tuesday. It is November 29th, 2022, 9:03 in the morning, and we officially have 2 days until the end of the month. So let's make it the best 2 days of November in the month strong. Again, carry some of this positive momentum into December. And we got a lot of big things planned for December as well. So while you're hitting me with that big old good morning, Alpha Nation, ladies and gentlemen, inside of chat, who do we have over on YouTube this morning? We have Joey, John, Mr. Steve, Miguel, good morning. Andy, Jazzy, good morning. Go ahead and drop your location as well. Where are you guys tuning in from right now today? I'm in sunny Florida. I can't complain. It's 80 degrees. So if you're upstate New York, if you're in Indiana, the Midwest, and it's snowing, I feel bad for you. But the market's hot, right? The market's on fire. So if you're cold, right, and you're shivering up there and you got your winter jackets on, it's okay, because today the market's going to warm you up. The market's going to heat you up, and we're going to lock in some amazing profits if the opportunity is there. And I think there is some good opportunity today, team. All right. So here in a moment, we'll dive into everything we have on watch for today, get you guys prepared so you're all set, ready to rock and roll. You know exactly what I'm watching, why I'm watching these stocks, my levels, my personal game plan, and exactly what I'm looking to do today to make money. That's why we're here, to lock in profits. We're here to make money, to have more freedom, Whatever the case is, we're going to make it happen. We're here to support you. We are here to help you succeed. And again, if you need anything, do not hesitate to let us know, guys. We are going to absolutely rock it today in the markets. JC, Tyrone, good morning. Chris, Scott, good morning. Stir, Alan, Catherine, AJ, Mr. Corey. What's going on, Trader Adam, Kits King? Ladies and gentlemen, good morning inside of chat. Everybody that's now tuning in over on YouTube. Good morning again. Steven from Miami. Steve M, New York City, but no snow yet. Puerto Rico, Miguel, good morning. Ontario, Andy Jazzy, what's up? Good morning. So, we're going to go ahead and dive into it, and we're going to get you guys prepared for today's trading session. Like I said, you know exactly what stocks I'm looking at, why I'm looking at these stocks, my game plans for each and every stock, and exactly what I'm looking to do and how I'm looking to move through the market today to make profit. Yesterday was the first day that I put a lot of my focus on penny stocks, right? I'm actually going to call them Pinot stocks, like penny, but Pinot. Pinot stocks. Not for me. They're no-nos. Okay? Just like when you go to the gym and you do cardio, it's cardi-no. Okay? Penny no. Yesterday, 80% of my focus was on penny stocks. And yesterday, I broke even. Looking back, in hindsight, it's always 2020, but still seeing a lot of amazing opportunities here in the broader market. And that's where the opportunities have been. That's where we've been crushing it. That's where the consistency is. That's where the profits are, guys. If you're still crushing it with pennies, keep up the amazing work. I'm still here to get you prepared and support you if you're looking at small cap penny stocks. But 80 to 90% of my focus, ladies and gentlemen, is going back to options, larger cap stocks, because that's where we've been dominating it. And that's simply where we've been crushing it lately. And that's where I want to keep my focus and keep my attention. All right, so I know everybody's watching COSM at this point in time. Short squeeze hype. The stock is 8% short against its float, which is really not a lot if you think about it, right? COSM, you have the hype from social media talking about it being a short squeeze, but the short float percentage here on COSM is less than 10%. The float is less than 1 million. That means there's less than 100,000 shares shorts. If this was a short squeeze, I would already imagine those shorts have already been squeezed out of the trade, right? So I just think there's a lot of hype. This stock has been consistently ripping, consistently running to the upside day over day over day from as low as 10 cents, now trading up towards around 88 cents. Highs in pre-market. I mean, the stock's on fire, but the stock's not for me. When I look at the stock and I see it only moves 10 to 15 cents in the entire day, I don't like it. That's too slow for me. I want to see a stock that can move 50 cents plus in the matter of minutes, not 15 cents in the matter of hours. This may be a good trade for you based on your style, but it's definitely nothing I'm looking to trade today. Bottom supports back down around 65 cents if we lose 75 cents. So if we crack below 75 cent support, you will see this thing come back down towards around 65 cents. Okay? If you hold 75 cents, we can definitely start to see this push, definitely start to see this bounce back up towards around 88 cents. And then your main target here on COSM is going to be 95 cents, your 200-day moving average. Now, if the stock ever breaks the 200-day moving average and it breaks $1, this thing could really start taking on off, right? If we break $1, this thing would be a massive $1 breakout. Why is that? Well, it's been underneath of $1 for a pretty long time here. If you look at it, it's been under $1 for nearly, not quite, but nearly 6 months. 6 months plus. And we know that the longer a stock's under $1, and when it breaks $1, those are the biggest breakouts. Not only would it be breaking $1, psychological resistance, it would be breaking the 200-day moving average, which is huge, right? And that's going to bring even more volume in, even more traders. Now, do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't think so. I mean, the stock's overextended, really overbought on the RSI, coming into a lot of resistance. I definitely see it pulling back first before it ever sets up, if it sets up for a break over the 200-day moving average and a break over $1. So I don't see that happening, but at the same time, who would have expected this stock going from around 10 cents a couple of weeks ago, now trading up at 88 cents? No one would ever thought that. So again, we could see it break on out and rip and run and move higher. And if that happens, it's going to 119, 120 into that daily resistance. You have that little gap here I'm not too crazy about the gap. I think it's irrelevant. I think your main area is going to be that spiking high personally. That spiking high from June 14th, right up around that 150 region. So if you're in this, if you're getting in this, whatever the case is, and you ever see the thing break $1 and you're like, my goodness, it's going to keep going. Where do I lock in profits? Josh, I've been in this since last week. You're going to lock in profits, obviously around $1. I think that's the smart thing to do. 119 to 120, and then 150 to 154 are going to be your next targets to the upside. But right now, be very, very mindful. A lot of resistance here at 95 cents and $1. So if you're watching COSM, those are going to be your levels. You are all set, ready to rock and roll. If you ever need more analysis today, you want me to come back, dissect it, and help you build some plans and get prepared and, enter and exit the trade, and you need my assistance and help, don't hesitate to ask. I'm not going to be watching this stock today, but that doesn't mean I won't shift my focus from, say, the SPY and the Qs, for example, back over to COSM to make sure you guys are taken care of. All right, so use me to abuse me. If there's another small cap stock that you want me to look at, let me know. Okay, I know everybody's talking about COSM. I'm sure 80% of traders in chat on YouTube are looking at COSM. Now, if there's another small cap stock you're watching, you want me to take a peek at and get you prepared and do some due diligence, I will. But right now, I want to put more of my focus on the broader market, as that's where my focus is going to be today. All right, so what did we just see with the SPY? Well, the SPY here in pre-market cracked that little uptrend. That was a validated trend line, right? Yesterday's low of day, here in pre-market, come up towards around 398.20. We come down and put in this higher low, and we validated it here, right? That makes this a valid trend line. We see good price action off that trend line here. So that was a valid trend line. We bounced off of it on point number 3, on point number 4, but we failed to break over those prior highs and move higher. And we're still in this nice little downtrend at this point in time from yesterday. Nice big downtrend. It's consolidating, looking like it may start to put in its next leg on down. So I'm looking at this trend line. We cracked the trend line, and I'm looking for a possible retest of this trend line as resistance, right? It'd be a crack and then a retest, and looking for that next leg down to yesterday's low of day. Another thing that I want to do is put a little bit of a trend line here on the SPY as well. You see how the uptrend and the downtrend intersect here? Not only would this be a crack of our uptrend and a possible retest, that would also be coming back into this downtrend that we're establishing here in pre-market. That's going to put you right around 397. So if we see that downtrend hit, we see that crack and retest, and we're not breaking on up, I will be looking to play puts out of the gate right around that 397 level for the leg down to 395. We ever break below 395, we have room to fade and fall down to around 393. I'm calling it 393 as we just had a lot of support right around that 393 level, right? Low 393s. So it could be 393, 393.40, but the low 393s, right? If we do fall below 395.16, which was yesterday's low of day. Well, let's say that that's not a valid plan, right? Let's say the SPY says, yeah, that downtrend, yeah, we're not going to respect that. Oh, that uptrend, we're not going to have a retest. We're just going to start ripping and running to the upside. Where could we see the SPY go until we hit resistance? Well, light resistance, not strong by any means, but light resistance back up at 398.20. And if we ever see the SPY breaking above 398.20, we have room back to 400. Now, why are we looking at that 398.20-ish level, right? Right around that 398.20, right? Spiking high. Go look at yesterday. We bounced right off that level. We bounced right off that level, cracked below it, retested, dumped on down, pre-market high. So I would say right around that 398 to 398.20 is going to be a decent little level of resistance. And if we can break above that level of resistance, I see potential to 400. So what would I do? I would play calls over 398.13 to 400. If we come up to 398 level, that resistance, and we're not breaking above, right, I would play puts on down to 395. If we come on down to 395 and we're holding, right? We're not cracking below it. I'll play calls to 398, right? So we have, 3-4 key levels that we can base trades off of, right? And I also looking to see what we do when the market opens on up here right around this downtrend and right around this uptrend as well. Put you right around 397. If we're getting stuffed, we're getting rejected, I'm playing puts down to yesterday's low of day. If we break that level and those two trend lines are not validated right around 397, I'll just wait for it to get up towards around that 398, see what happens, right? The chart's saying take puts, we'll take puts down to 395. If the chart breaks, if the stock breaks above 398 and we hold above it, and it's saying take some calls, we'll take calls to 400. But right now, out of the gate, my game plan is to look for put contracts right around 397 on this crack and retest, also coming back into this downtrend. If that doesn't take place, we have to just wait and see what happens here at resistance, and then wait and see what happens here at support. And it just requires a lot of patience, right? So that's my plan today on the SPY right out of the gate, looking for those put contracts right around 397. AMD is a bit of a back burner today. AMD was definitely, we were looking for those longs yesterday, but really yesterday we didn't see the movements that we really wanted to see. I still want to keep AMD on watch, just more of a back burner at this point in time. So I don't really have too much to discuss with AMD today. I don't really have too much to discuss with Netflix today, but both of these stocks were stocks that I was looking at yesterday for possible day trades that can turn into really nice swing trades as well. And I still think there's potential, but not something that I really want to, take the next 10 minutes and dissect when we may not see anything really validate itself anyway at this point in time. So with that being said, just know AMD is a back burner watch, and I will be looking at it throughout the day. And if I see anything that stands out, we'll break it down, get you guys prepared, and make it happen. Same thing with Netflix, right? We discussed Netflix yesterday, a good day trade opportunity that can turn into a really nice swing trade. Again, nothing happened yesterday for us to get those calls or those puts based on our analysis and based on our plan from yesterday. So it's another back burner stock. I still think there's potential, but nothing right now that's really standing out to me. It needs to develop. We need to open, see how it moves, and I'll continue to look at it throughout the day. And if it ever sets up and gives me what I need to get those entries, I'll definitely jump on the mic, get you guys prepared, go over what strike we're taking, expiration, right? What's the delta? How many contracts, my entries, my stop, target. I'll make sure I get you guys prepared so you can take that trade as well if you like it, okay? But there is one stock today that I think has good potential depending on what the SPY and the Qs do, right? So if the SPY does indeed get rejected off that 397 level and start working its way back down to yesterday's low of day of 395, if the Qs also start to drop on off back down to yesterday's low of day, I want to look for a short here on Alphabet, ticker GOOG. So if we have a red day in the market, the SPY's dropping on off, the Qs dropping on off back down below yesterday's low of day, cracking that 20 EMA, cracking that daily uptrend, and we really start to see another red day in the market, right? And we're definitely bearish. We're playing puts. I want to absolutely look to get some puts here on Alphabet, GOOG, on down to 94.41. So what I'm looking is a crack below yesterday's low of day here on GOOG, which is also that 20 EMA that we've respected, quite a few times this year, right? Look at that 20 EMA. Resistance, dump on off. 20 EMA, resistance, dump on off. 20 EMA, resistance, dump on off. Look at all that resistance. Look at all that support right around the 20 EMA, right? We drop on down. So what did we see here, early November when we got back above that 20 EMA? Well, we came down and we bounced off of it. What did we do yesterday? We came down and put in a double bottom off that 20 EMA. It's a very respected moving average. So not only am I looking for Google, I keep saying Google, Alphabet, GOOG, not only am I looking for the stock to crack and fall below yesterday's low of day, I'm also looking for it to crack and fall below that 20 EMA. So I'd really like to see it fall below the 20 EMA, fall below yesterday's low of day, ideally pop back up for a retest. I'd really like to see a nice crack and retest here on GOOG. And if we see what we want to see here, a beautiful crack and retest below yesterday's low of day and that 20 EMA, I do believe we can start to fade and fall down to the low of day from the 22nd, right? That's going to put you down towards around 94.41. So that's about $1.40 to the downside. I really like this. I think there's low risk, great reward if it sets up and develops exactly the way we want to see it set up and develop. And that's a crack and retest of yesterday's low of day, as well as that 20 EMA. That's been really, really respected, several times this year. So again, it's a good idea. I like it. It's the only thing that stood out to me on our options watch list that really just pulled me in, that really just convicted me when I first looked at it. But that's it, guys. There's not a whole lot that I'm seeing today that really stands out to me besides the SPY, couple back burner ideas on AMD and Netflix. And then, I would say it's kind of a back burner on Alphabet as well. It's not the best looking setup ever. I'm not like super sold on it. I'm not super confident, for example, to where I want to like load the boat, where I'm like, this is the number one. But I think there is potential to keep it on watch and see if it develops and sets up. And if it doesn't, so be it. Then we'll just completely remove it from the watch list and just focus on the SPY and the Qs. All right. So that's what we got going on for today, right? So the SPY, looking for those puts around 397 out of the gates for a crack and retest of the uptrend, as well as getting rejected off the downtrend. And then we're looking to take profits down at yesterday's low of day. And if we ever crack below yesterday's low of day, we have potential down to 393.29. That's my game plan right at the start of the day. And then GOOG, you guys know my plan here. And then you guys are looking at COSM, right? And COSM, once again, 75-cent support. Top resistance, 88 cents. You ever break 88 cents, your main target's going to be the 200-day moving average and then $1. All right? You start to fall and crack below that 75-cent level, you do have room down to 65 cents here on COSM. Right? So again, I'm really just 80 to 90% focused here on the SPY. That's it. I'm focused on the SPY. That's where 80 to 90% of my focus is going. Obviously, I am watching the Qs as well. And then I'm going to be looking at GOOG, AMD and Netflix. A little bit of a back burner. We ever start to see the development and what we need, we're going to jump in on them and we're going to make it happen. But I would say today, market conditions are on a scale of 1 to 10. I would say like a 6 or a 7. What would you guys say? On a scale of 1 to 10, if you were to grade and rate these market conditions, a 0 being ice cold, no opportunity, and a 10 being freaking hot, we're loading the boat and we're being aggressive today. We're going to control that aggression. What would you grade the market as? I would say like a 6 or a 7 today. Catherine saying a 4, 5 out of a 10, 50-50, right? Decent opportunities, but not the best looking opportunities, right? Decent potential, but nothing that really excites me, that makes me want to just jump all in right at the start of the day. 50-50. So what should we be doing as we're assessing market conditions? What types of strategies and styles of trading have we acquired that work good in these types of market conditions? How should you position yourself in these types of market conditions? Should you be aggressive, control your aggression, right? Looking for a big day. You're going to take some big risk because you see potential to make big profit. Or are you going to completely sit on the sidelines today and not trade? Or are you going to really scale back and be less risky? Maybe go from, say, 20 contracts on average per trade down to, say, 5 contracts because you're 50-50 with the market. How are you going to position yourself today based on the market conditions that you've just assessed? That's what you have to do every single morning. What are market conditions? Okay. What types of strategies, what types of styles of trading, right, work best in these types of market conditions for me based on how I trade? as an experienced trader. And then how should I position myself today? Should I be aggressive? Should I be less aggressive? Should I size up? Should I size down? Right? Should I sit back the first 10, 15 minutes? Or do I see opportunity right out of the gate? Right? Is it a trending market or is it more range bound? Right? Really get an idea of the overall market. What do we have economic data at 10 o'clock? Right? Really just do your due diligence, right? Really just think everything through and have the best built game plan today and make sure you position yourself correctly. So what I would say is, 50-50 with the market, decent opportunity, but I'm not super confident or super convicted, like super excited. We had a nice drop yesterday. And right now, I could just see like maybe a range bound day as traders and investors just kind of digest that 5-point drop, 6-point drop from yesterday. Maybe just a sideways day between 395 support and 398 resistance. If that's the case and we have a range bound day, I'll go smaller size, right? Put some hard stops in and let the thing develop throughout the entire day. And not try and scalp the market, but take smaller size where I can let it breathe a little bit more and let the thing develop throughout the entire day and see if I can catch 2 to 3 points between these levels of support and resistance. If it's a range bound day, which right now I would be leaning more towards maybe a bit of a range bound day. But let's say it's not a range bound day. Let's say it's a very volatile day, right? Let's say we really start to open on up and we start this downtrend again as we're cracking below yesterday's low of day. Maybe I start to size on up. If we see that volatility, if we see that movement, we can definitely start to scalp these shorter term moves. So I would say right now, based on the assessment, market conditions, yesterday's movement, how we're looking today, getting prepared, doing our due diligence, right? Taking everything into consideration. I would say probably more of a range bound day, size down, be a bit more patient, let your trades develop, give them a bit more breathing room. Go out next week on expiration so your theta doesn't destroy you on a weekly. Play next week, play 30 days out, whatever. Get something with a lower theta. They're more expensive, but lower theta if you're going to let this thing develop the entire day. Be patient, set it, forget it, whatever the case is. So that's how I would kind of approach the day at the start and just kind of look and see what we do at one of these levels of support resistance. And if we start to see like a tabletop or a double bottom, whatever we see at that point in time, I'm already thinking, hey, I'm going to play calls off 395 to 398, or I'm going to play puts off 398 to 395. Probably go 30 to 45 days out, something that has a low theta, scale back on my size, maybe 5 contracts, 10 contracts, scale in, and let the thing develop and really play itself on out, as we may not see that much volatility today, where I want to get in at 20, 30 contracts, hypothetically, and scalp the market, right? Based on the analysis and based on, kind of rating these market conditions. And then, that gives me an idea of how I should position myself today just to make sure that I'm positioned correctly with the type of market that we're in. So that's it. So, maybe that's how I approach the day today. And another thing too is, maybe sit back the first 5-10 minutes at the start and see what happens. Right? I'm not super convicted and super excited with what we're seeing. So maybe I just sit back at the start of the day and be a little bit more patient and wait for, that one great trade, that one and done. So we'll see. But right now, team, we do have about a minute to go. And out of the gate, all eyes here on the SPY up into this downtrend right around 397. And then for a possible retest of the uptrend that we just cracked below. If we see a reason to get in, we'll definitely be looking to play puts for the drop on down to 395. Or we open and just drop down to 395. We see it holding that support level, and we play calls for the next leg on up. Right? So that's my game plan for the start of the day. Still watching the cues, obviously. We're starting to see that dip on below here on Alphabet. You see that right before the open. We're starting to get a little heat here. What's going on here? Any kind of news that caused that drop here? Google sued over paying radio hosts to promote Pixel 4 even though they hadn't used the phone. Okay, so you got a little bit of a drop there off that article that Google's being sued over paying a radio host to promote the Pixel 4. Yeah, so it's starting to make a little bit of that move here in pre-market. So it's definitely on watch, guys, 100%, and then the SPY as well. APEN was acquired. Austin, we got to look at press releases, bro. All right, press releases. They were acquired for $615 million. Okay, what was the per share price? Right, $10 per share. Anytime we see acquisition, you see a big spike and then sitting flat, and it's acquisition. Look at the per share price. That's the price the stock is worth. That's the price the stock is going to sit at. There is literally no opportunity to trade the stock today. It's not going to budge. It's not going to move. So APEN, acquisition news, not worth your time. All right, so enjoy your day, guys, over on YouTube. All right, you guys know exactly what I'm looking at. Number one is going to be GOOG for the crack and retest below yesterday's low of day, and that 20 EMA right around 95.91 for the drop on down to 94.41. Looking to play puts on down. And then you guys know exactly my game plan today for the SPY. All right, trade smart, trade safe. It's not a hot day by any means. Scale back. Be more patient today. Wait for the best of the best of the best setups and just make it happen, right? Lock in those consistent base hits, end your day green, walk away profitable, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning as we kick it off again, as we make it happen and end the month of November on a strong and profitable note. All right, so have a good day, and I'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning here on YouTube right around 9 a.m. Corey, I got you. I need someone to teach me how to make a cool intro for YouTube like that. I can do it for you. That was a rough late night thing that I put together. It needs a lot more love. But yeah, it was a rough one. But it works for now. It works for now. But I got you, man. I can teach you how to do it. You liked it, and that was rough, and you liked it? Oh, I appreciate it, buddy. It's gonna be 1,000 times better tomorrow. Appreciate it, man. We'll definitely, I'll definitely help you out. So again, sitting back on the SPY here, looking to see what we do out of the gate. Okay, again, you're 3 minutes in. There's no reason to be jumping into trades at this point in time if you're not seeing anything. Just sit back, relax. We're here to make some money, right? We want to lock in some amazing profits. So sit back, be patient, and wait for the trade to come to you. I am watching GOOG below yesterday's close as resistance. So if we see this topping out at 96.24, which is yesterday's close, and we see a good amount of resistance here, I may start a smaller position ahead of time, anticipating the drop on down, because we're still below yesterday's close. We're below that 20 EMA as well. How do the options look here on GOOG? Let's say, I mean, this is a day trade. We'd be looking for a 30 delta on the puts. Spreads are not bad at all. They're really nice and cheap. The theta, not digging it, but it should be a quick drop if we get it. The volume's very low, but we do have some decent open interest. So I probably won't go with a 3-day. I'll go a 10-day. Volume's low, open interest. So, you know what? Might just go with the 92 strike. Maybe. I'm still like 50-50 on it. Is that already dropping? Yeah, it's starting to drop a little bit here. Yeah, probably a 94 that expires Friday. A 94 put that expires Friday. Or I might just play right at the money at a 95. So I'm either going to go with a 95 or a 94 strike that expires here on Friday. But, you know, a good entry could have been a starting position right around that 96.24 level, but still on high watch here on GOOG. Let's see if we get a reason to possibly start a bit of a position here for that drop on off. Stops are nice and tight, too. I mean, stops are nice and tight. So. So watching the SPY, watching GOOG here. Again, below that 20 EMA, below yesterday's close. And now what we really want to see is this thing drop and stay below yesterday's low of day, ideally. Playing yesterday's low of day. So right now, below yesterday's close, looks great. Below that 20 EMA, looks good. Now we want to start to see it cracking below yesterday's low of day here on GOOG. Just watching the SPY here as well at this point in time. Seeing what the SPY's going to do. Let's go ahead and switch these around. So we'll put GOOG off to the side. We'll throw SPY back on up and see what is going on at this point in time. So watching the SPY, looking to see what it's going to do here at this VWAP. You start to break the VWAP here on the SPY. We know that we have room back up to that 397 region, which is the trend line from pre-market that we cracked below. And it's also that downtrend from pre-market. But let's see what it's going to do here at the VWAP. Q's actually still kind of just rolling on over, still fading and falling a little bit as the SPY's trying to push on up here. Right now, watching GOOG right around this 96.24 level. Looking to see if we start to get rejected here on the SPY, see if the Q's continue to fade on off, and if we start to see GOOG drop here and it's having a hard time getting above that 96.24, may consider starting a bit of a position here and then adding for the crack below 95.89. But right now, just want to be patient here, and I want to wait and see what the SPY is going to do. The SPY is seeing a nice little rejection here right off the VWAP. Looking to see what kind of price action we have there on GOOG. Watching the Qs as well here. You know, the Qs do have a good amount of support down around this 281. So like the low 281s, we have a good amount of support here on the Qs, right around 281.26. We'll be keeping that area on watch. That's most likely where we're going to see the Qs have a decent little bounce. And then SPY, yesterday's low of day, right around 395.16. I'm starting a position here on GOOG, guys. Very, very tight, right? Small starter. I'm right here below that 96.24. And if it pops above that level, I get out, right? So I'm willing to take a small loss to get my feet wet here, right at that resistance level, and then add to it below 95.89. So again, I'm not going full size. It's a little early, but I'm willing to take a little bit of that risk to get an early starter, as we just had 3 points right across that 96.24. I'm willing to take a small loss to get my feet wet, to go ahead and get a starter position here, adding to it below a low of day, which is below yesterday's low of day. And again, we're probably risking 30 cents, right? Grabbing an entry right around that 96.20. If we see it at 96.40, 96.50, cut it, right? I'm risking about 25 cents to 30 cents on Alphabet, which is going to be about a quarter of the delta. So the delta is a 36. So again, what's 25% of 40? $10 per contract. My risk, $100. So let's see. Let's see if it was a good idea to get an early position here, and let's see if we can get a nice little ad as well. Again, just seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 points right across the top, little to no volume, seeing the SPY drop as well a little bit. I'm definitely willing to start a position. And like I said, I would like to add to it below low of day, which is also below yesterday's low of day as well. But if we start to see the SPY bounce on up to this 397, we could see GOOG start to break on out here above that level, and then it's a simple paper cut, and then wait to see if it sets back up, then look for a re-entry at that time if it gives us a reason. But right now, we are we're above that area, so I want to go ahead and get out of those contracts for a small loss here. So if we start to push above that 96.50, I am going to go ahead and just sell those and then wait. See if we ever come back below that 96.20 region. Again, watching the Qs here. The Qs are still kind of just fading and falling a little bit. SPY still struggling here to get that leg on up at VWAP. And now we see GOOG right back down below that 96.24 region. So actually, I'm glad I held those. I'm going to hold these. I like that false pop above yesterday's close. That's not bad, right? We tried to get above. We had a decent little break there right above yesterday's close, and we come right back down. The SPY is still struggling here a little bit. The Qs still fading on off. I'm still holding those 10 contracts, and I'm still willing to add below today's low of day, which again is below yesterday's low as well. Right, so again, I have an entry here, 10 put contracts on GOOG. And my stop is over high of day. So if we come back through and we pop above high of day, I'll be getting out. So my entry, my cost basis is right around 97 cents each for 10 contracts. If we push back above this high of day, that will be a stop loss. And we're looking for this to crack below the low of day, which is also yesterday's low of day as well. Looking for the SPY and the Qs to continue to fade and fall. And we have an ideal target, right? Ideal target of 94.41. Now, am I going to hold them all the way down to 94.41? I would love to. But at any point in time, we see a reason to get out and secure profits. We get out and secure profits, right? So I do currently have 10 put contracts here on GOOG, right around the price of 96.24. That's where I was pulling the trigger. I have a fill here at 97 cents on 10 contracts on the 95 puts that expire on Friday. Stops over high a day, looking for a crack below that 95.60, and I feel like we would be in the clear, and we could start to see that target hit of 94.41. And again, we want to continue to watch the SPY here. As long as the SPY continues to look weak and drop on down, that's going to really help pull GOOG down along with it. Same thing with the Qs. We can see the Qs continue to drop on down. That's going to help pull GOOG down along with it. But here's the one concern I have. The Qs are coming into very strong support at 281.26. The SPY is coming into pretty strong support at 395. If we see the SPY bounce and we see the Qs bounce off very strong support, what's going to happen with GOOG? It's probably going to bounce very strong as well. So that's the only thing that concerns me with GOOG in the short position that we currently have, is if we see that big strong bounce on the SPY and the Qs, that's going to kill the trade on GOOG. So if we see that type of price action and bounce on the SPY and the Qs, you may see me like de-risk myself and sell 5 contracts. Just to de-risk myself and sell 5 contracts that I could always add right back in. Just because we are coming down to a very, very strong level of support on the SPY and the Qs. And if we see the market bounce, well, we're going to see GOOG bounce as well. So that's what I'm going to do. If we see that reaction, we see that bounce, I will de-risk myself. And it's not a risky position the way it is, but take 5 contracts off the table. If it bounces, my stop loss is cut in half. If it doesn't bounce, I can re-add to it, and we're good to go. That's kind of how I would like to play this. I don't care if it's 10 contracts or 100 contracts. I'm going to treat this trade the same. 10 contracts, 100 contracts. I'm going to treat it exactly the same and manage it how it should be managed. So let's see what happens. Right now, we're about break even on this. Looking for that crack on down below that low a day. Stops are over the high a day. And again, we're just looking for that crack of yesterday's low of day for a nice little drop down to that 94.41. If the SPY is, right, if the SPY is able to crack below 395, we do have potential to see the SPY down towards around that 393, which would be fantastic for GOOG to get that nice little drop on down. If the Qs, right, this is really good support though. You're sitting right at the trend line on the Qs and right at your 20 EMA. Like I'm really convicted, and confident that the Qs are going to bounce here. And I'm really confident that I'll probably have to de-risk myself on this position that we have with Google. I keep saying Google. It's Google, Alphabet, GOOG, whatever. But if it just comes crashing below that 281, these could absolutely print and do well. But I don't think that's going to happen because it's really strong support here on the Qs. And I would expect a really decent bounce. Same thing with the SPY. So, and right now with, you know, the current market conditions, I don't want to be extremely aggressive at 20, 30, 40 contracts. I want to play it safer today and just lock in consistent basis when I have an opportunity to do so. And plus, I'm not even a full 30 days in to options trading yet, right? Like I just made that pivot week 1 of November from trading equities and small caps to trading options. So it's a different field. It's a different area to be in. And I still want to make sure that I'm as confident as possible as I start scaling up from 10 contracts to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50, like I would do with equities and shares. Treating all trades the same is a great concept for the emotions. I had a couple of SPY puts, but was a small position this early on. Thought about trying to let them run a bit, but told myself if you had a big size, you'd be taking off the table. 100%. 100%. If I had 100 contracts right now, I would be taking them off the table. So why would you manage your 5 contracts differently than 100 on the same type of style and strategy? So I want to make sure that's known on the same type of strategy, the same style of trade. Like this is a quick day trade opportunity that I want to get in and get out. I have no intentions on letting this thing develop until the end of the day. That was not my plan coming into this trade. I don't want to let it develop all day. I expect to see the markets move lower, ideally, and really see Alphabet get pulled down. You know, $1 plus to the downside relatively quick. So they're not something I plan on being in for hours. So we start to see that drop on down. I start scaling out like I would with, say, 100 contracts. Not be greedy. So, you know, right now it's, you know, pretty flat. We're sitting right around flat. And here's what I'm going to do, because we are sitting right at strong support on the SPY and the Qs. This is what I'm going to do, and I think this is the best decision, is if we start to see Alphabet pushing back above 95.89, I'm closing my position. Flat. Break even, because if the Qs bounce here, off support, and the SPY bounce here, off support, and we see Alphabet react and bounce, and it pushes back above 95.90, let's be honest. The odds are it's going to come back up the high day, most likely, and this will be a losing trade. So knowing it's going to be a losing trade, knowing you're going to stop yourself out, why even hold that? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If it sets back up, it sets back up, and I re-enter. So right now, I'm going to play it nice and tight, play it safe, just because we're sitting at a very strong level of support with both the SPY and the Qs. And that's how I want to manage this trade here. Let's see. Can we get the SPY to dump? Can we have the Qs dump? Will that help pull Alphabet down with it? Can we make a couple dollars to start the day? Right? We have 10 put contracts here on GOOG, aka Alphabet, aka Google, right? 97 cents a piece. Right now, the bids at $1. We're up a whopping $30 at this point in time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are up a whopping $20 at this point in time. Like I said, if we start to see that bounce on the SPY and the Qs, and we see Alphabet back above 95.90, I am going to be pulling the trigger and getting out of this position. If we do start to dump on off and we do get that drop that we're anticipating, guess what? We have over $1 to the downside. And these would definitely pay out. But the one concerning thing that we have here is the SPY and the Q sitting at really strong support. That's the only concern that I have. If it wasn't for that, I'd feel confident to hold this a little bit longer. But since we're sitting right at key support, and I think we're going to see a strong bounce, I'm going to have to keep these stops nice and tight. Come on, move, baby. Move a little bit. Here come the Qs on down to support. So if we do see the bounce, guys, that's a good long entry on the Qs, right? Not only would you be bouncing off your 20 EMA, you are coming back down into this daily uptrend for the third time, right? There's two key areas of support right here around 281.26 on the Qs. You could absolutely look to play some calls off that level, 100%. You could absolutely look to play some calls off that level. And then if you want to add in a break of this downtrend, add in a break of the downtrend, right? So come on down, look and see if it's going to hold that level of support. You see good price action, it's holding. We start to see more buyers move in. We start to break that downtrend. That's a good trade to play calls back up to the VWAP here on QQQ. Man, this is a slow mover, guys. Like, I like boring trades because boring trades are good trades, but when the trade is just really slow, like that kind of boring, I don't like those kind of trades. This is a boring trade. This is a slow one. You're getting a little bit of that retest of yesterday's low of day here on Alphabet. You're getting a little bit of that retest. Cracking on down. Not a massive crack by any means. Nothing impressive. A little bit of a retest. You're starting to bounce a little bit on the Qs. Nothing crazy. You're starting to see a little bit of a pop here on the SPY. Again, nothing crazy. Patience with a capital P-A-Y. Catherine locking in a base hit on those 10 puts. Well done, well done. I'm glad that you got a nice little base hit there, Catherine. Way to get after it, Catherine. Way to get after it. Love it. Yeah, the SPY's going to really fight to hold that 395 level. The Qs are really going to fight to hold that 281.20 level. That's what I think. I think you're going to see a lot of fighting right there around those two levels of support, which again could absolutely kill the puts that we have on Alphabet. But right now, that was a really nice crack and retest. So, you know, that wasn't terrible. We cracked below yesterday's lows. Crack on down. Not the best looking crack, but we cracked on down. Nice retest. And that's a nice rejection. So I do like that rejection candle here as we retested that level of support as resistance. So that makes me feel a little bit more confident, but I'm still not confident because the Qs and the SPY coming into that key support level. That's one thing that still I'm not all that crazy about. So right now, my stops are this red line. See that little red line here? Those are my stops. Like, that high was the retest candles. That was the crack and the retest, and you had a strong rejection. So my stop loss is over that rejection candle high. So my stop would virtually be break even on the trade, maybe a couple of dollars of risk. So I'm going from $100 of risk to pretty much break even on the trade because that's what the chart's telling me to do. But again, I want to stress this just in case you guys are tuning in. If we see a strong bounce on the Qs off that support level, 281.26, and we see a strong bounce on the SPY at 395.16, I'm getting out of Alphabet regardless. I'm getting out because it will bounce with the market. I'm very confident that will happen. So again, right now, I'm just managing a slow mover. And right now, we are trading 3 days to expiration, 95s. And we're going to send this off to good old green here so we can see how these are moving in conjunction with the chart. So that retest candle here was right here. So that's 96 cents. So here's my stop on the actual option. Right there. 95 cents. See that? See that red line? That's my stop loss on the option itself, right? So we had that crack and retest. We had our break and retest. The low here on the options chain, like 96 cents. I'm going to put a hard stop at 95. I'm going to set it and forget it. So I'm going to go here, sell the close, 10 contracts. We're going to go stop. And our stop's going to be that red line at 0.95. So we're going to sell the close, 10 put contracts. The stop loss is going to be at 0.95. 0.95, which is right underneath that swing low, which is right here, that red line, actually looking at Alphabet's chart. And so that puts me at a $20 loss here on this trade. So we are bouncing on the SPY here over the last, 4 minutes? We had a nice little bounce here on the SPY. Over the last 4 minutes, we had a nice bounce here on the Qs. But here's what I do like. Over the last 4 minutes, we're still pointing down here on Alphabet, which I do like, that it's not moving with the market. It's not bouncing on up with the SPY and the Qs. It's still fading and falling. I actually feel confident to hold this trade for a little bit longer now, based on that we're not seeing that exact tight correlation here with Alphabet. So I like it. But again, my stop here is that little red line. A little red line. I'm risking $20 to potentially make $400 if we really get that nice big drop on off here. So I like it. So sell the close, 10 contracts, stop loss, 0.95. And we're going to go ahead and put that right in the system here. And you can see here that we have a stop loss at 0.95, filled at 0.97. And that's going to put us at a $20 loss. Right now, we're up over $100. So we're actually 5-1 at this point in time based on our risk. But when we look at the daily chart here, we have potential all the way down to that lower shadow, right at 94.40. So that's $1 away. The delta here is a 40. So if we get that dollar drop, that's a $400 profit to risk 20 bucks. Like, am I okay with risking 20 to 30 bucks to make $400? Yes. Am I willing to get stopped out here and make $0 to potentially make $400 if we do indeed drop on off? Yes. So if it stops me out, so be it. I'm willing to give that $100 back to let this thing drop on down to that 94. So hard stops in the system right now. Let's see. You're getting pretty close to a stop here. Getting pretty close here. But we'll see. We'll continue to be as patient as possible here. Yeah. It may stop. You got the Qs bouncing strong and breaking the downtrend. You got the SPY bouncing strong as well. That may really hurt that trade here because we're starting to see that reaction with Alphabet. The hard stops in the system. We don't have to worry about it. We let it do its thing. Right now, the SPY. What can we do? We can put a bit of a downtrend here on the SPY, right? Look at that. Third point of the downtrend. Nice rejection. Right? Nice rejection here. Third point of the downtrend on the SPY. Definitely too late for the trade, but really, really nice downtrend rejection. That was a profitable trade there. Boom, look at that. Quick 50-cent drop. Good stuff if you noticed that one. The Qs, yeah, that was a tough one. You definitely took a lot of heat. Definitely took some heat on the Qs. But the SPY, that was really nice there. So I'm still in. We're still up, about 80 bucks right now at this point in time. But if that SPY, if SPY breaks VWAP here and breaks that downtrend, it's most likely going to be a stop out there on our current position with Alphabet. Look at that crack and retest of that trend line, guys. See that trend line on Netflix? We did crack that, and we are sitting right at that 277.60 level. Remember, cracking the trend line, the first step in the right direction. Falling below 277.68, then getting a retest of 277.68 confirms puts down to 262.19. So all eyes on Netflix. You already have the first step in the right direction, cracking that uptrend. We start to fall below 277.68. You crack that level, come back up for a retest. I'm all in on those puts for the drop on down towards around 266 and then 262. I would go 45 days out. This would be a day trade opportunity that would turn into a swing trade here. Can we get a new low of day on Alphabet? Below 95.50. Definitely starting to see a lot more selling volume move on in. you guys have questions, don't hesitate to let me know. All right. If you guys have questions, do not hesitate. Please let me know. Right now, we're up about 150 on the Alphabet position here. We're up about $150 right now at this point in time, but still want to give it a chance to drop a little bit more here. I still want to give it a chance to drop a little bit more. There's a lot of potential here to lock in a good amount of profit, and the risk could virtually be break even at this point in time. You know what? I'm doing that. I'm going to take my stop up to break even. I'm going to take that stop up to break even, guys. I'm going to go 0.98. So I'm going to go a penny above 0.98, and I'm officially risk-free. 100%. I'm risk-free. We're up $200 at this point in time. Go ahead and replace that in 0.98. And we're going to put it right at break even. So we're going to put a penny above. A penny above. It stops us out at break even. Guess what? It was worth the risk. It was managed correctly. We put ourselves in a break-even position. That's the right thing to do based on what we're seeing with the SPY, the Qs, and the chart here on Alphabet. If it works in our favor, we have $300 to $400 of profit potential, and we could safely put our stop at break-even, and that's the right thing to do based on the chart. So I like those odds. I'm willing to break even and give these profits back to see if we can make a few $100. BILI is not moving all that bad. BILI is not all that bad the way it's moving. I want to keep this one on watch here. Here on BILI. Nice little uptrend. It's got a decent little uptrend here that it's grinding. It's moving up on earnings this morning. SPY and the Q's bouncing a little bit. Yep, we're starting to see a bit of a reversal here. And that was the concern. And so, hey, doing the right thing, stopping at break even, knowing that we could see the Q's bounce here, and it's a strong bounce area. And same thing with the SPY, which is going to cause Alphabet to bounce as well. Do the right thing, stop at break even, and wait to see if the market sets back up for another entry, because I still like the short idea. It's just unfortunate the SPY and the Q's are sitting right at a key level of support. And it's very unfortunate that we're in the current type of market conditions where everything correlates with one another for the most part. Right? It's the time of year, those types of market conditions where everything just correlates pretty much the same as one another. Right now, we're still a little bit in the green here. We're still a little bit in the green. Nothing too crazy. We're up, maybe 70, 80 bucks at this point in time. SPY's breaking that VWAP and breaking that downtrend. Right now, the Q's getting a pretty strong bounce and break as well. Yeah, I'm definitely like 80% confident we get hit at break even here. Unless we see a massive rejection off VWAP, I feel great, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. We shall see, though. The SPY's officially above VWAP. Q's curling up underneath the VWAP. I do believe we see a pop and a break, and that's going to stop us out here on Alphabet. Anything else that you guys are looking at right now at this point in time? Anything that stands out to you? Anything with Netflix? I don't think there's anything just yet. AMD looks like it wants to pop and move a little bit higher. Good old Alphabet. We've talked about this for like the past 50 minutes. I think you guys have heard enough of commentary on GOOG. Yeah, so it's definitely one of those days to kind of do one of these. Set it and forget it. Take a nap. Set your alarm, 30 minutes, wake up. Did I make money or did I get stopped out at break even? All right. Where's the next opportunity if there is one? If there's anything else that we're watching, let me know. Steve, Matt's looking for the Zoom. I was having issues with Zoom this morning for some reason. The last couple of days, it wasn't working for me. I can definitely try and load it back up here. But yeah, I have one too many pieces of software loaded. One too many pieces of software. It's like I'm recording a screen on one piece of software. I'm casting on another one. Yeah, it's a lot. And then on top of that, my computer hates me. And I got 5 brokers open as well. So if I'm going to be doing the everything I got going on, I need a new PC. So we got a donation jar today for Alpha's new computer. So we can have, you know, a million applications open at the same time. But I'm going to have to use a different tool that's web-based, not PC-based, like Zoom. So we will figure it out. I'll give you a call today, man. Where is my... All right, we're good. So again, any questions you guys have, please let me know. Right now at this point in time, we're letting Alphabet do its thing-a-lang. That's all we're doing. Letting it do its thing-a-lang. Yes, a real word. I made it up today. And while it does its thing-a-lang, I want to answer some questions if you guys have any questions. If not, I'm going to continue to do what I've done for the past 40 minutes. I'm going to continue to repeat what I just said 2 minutes ago about Alphabet. Like a broken record, over and over and over and over. You guys need help with something? I'm here. You want to review a stock? I'm here. You need help? I got you. Use me. Abuse me. I wish I had a crystal ball. I wish I could read minds to figure out exactly what you could be struggling with in the market. But again, I can't and I don't know. So use me and abuse me. Don't feel like you're going to take me away from anything when we have a trade that's going to develop probably over the next 30 minutes. So right now, still dropping on down little by little by little. We know we have that room to 94.40, but let's do this. While it's still coming on down, let's go ahead. Throw this on an hour time frame. Let's look left and see if there's any other areas that we should be mindful of. Okay, 95.44. Maybe that's a little area. I'm definitely seeing that area here at 95.11. Look at 95.11, that pre-market high, that low of day. I think 95.11 is our, a definite first target, if you ask me. So 95.11 is definitely going to be a first target to take 5 of these put contracts. Okay, looking left, make sure we're not missing anything. Definitely those lows right around 94.40, fantastic area. So yeah, first target, 95.11 here. We're up about $300 at this point in time. We're actually making some progress. Our goal was $300 to $400 on this trade is what we would see off that drop. And this is really testing my patience too, guys. I'm not going to lie. Really testing my patience because it's taken a long time. Yeah. Let's see if we get that 95.11. That's a nice area. Lock in some profits here. I'd hate to see a bounce when we're already up nearly $300 on this trade. We're sitting right at that lower shadow, 95.30. We could see a little bit of a bounce. You're seeing a little bit of a bounce here. But I definitely see a better area down at 95.11. I definitely see 95.11 being a better area for maybe like a bigger bounce. How's the SPY doing right now? SPY kind of looks like it wants to break on out here. The Qs, they're sitting right at that support level. I don't want to be greedy on Alphabet. We already have decent profit. It's not close to the target, but we're getting there, and the Qs are definitely trying to double bottom. The SPY looks like it wants to reverse. I'm going to have to take half here. 5 contracts. I'm going to have to go ahead and take half. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that stop order out. I'm going to go ahead and click the sell button for 5 of those contracts at 521. I have to do it. The SPY wants to reverse here. The Qs are sitting right at support. I'd be stupid to not take profit and look for a re-entry on a bounce. I know it's not close to target, but again, weighing out the pros and the cons, it only makes sense. Sell the close 5, and I may drop the other 5 here as well if we start to bounce. Right? The SPY and the Qs are bouncing, looking like they want to reverse. Definitely looking like the markets want to try and move a little bit higher here. So I'm probably going to close this out and look for a re-entry on a lower high here on GOOG. Because again, the Qs are at support bouncing officially, and the SPY is wanting to reverse here. So give it a few more seconds. I still have 5 contracts on the table. I would say above 95.40. If I start to see a pop here on Alphabet, back above like say 95.40, I'm going to drop the other 5 contracts and lock in profits. If we can crack below 95.25, we can make a couple extra bucks. But we're up $1 right now from our entries to where the price currently is. We're up $1. Took forever, but I'm going to drop those other 5 contracts. We're out. All right. We're out. That was okay. It wasn't as aggressive as what we wanted to see. It wasn't a massive drop. The main concern on that position was the SPY coming into very, very strong support. The main concern was the Qs, really, really strong support. Not to mention, we're starting to reverse on the Qs. Not to mention, we're reversing on the SPY, and we know that Alphabet is going to move with the market. And look at that. Great time to get out because those just dropped, right? From where we were selling, those just dropped 10 to 11 cents a piece. That's 100 to 110 bucks. So we were able to secure an extra $100 on that trade by being disciplined and getting out. So what was the final P&L there? Nice trade, simple trade, right? Slow trade, but hey, we were in that trade for about, what was that, 30, 40, about 50 minutes, right? About 50 minutes, and we locked in $216 in less than an hour. That's not bad if you think about it, right? That's not bad if you think about it. Be able to lock in $200 in less than an hour? Guys, this just fits in with what I was talking about this morning, right? If you can come in and just keep it simple and you keep your risk nice and tight and you're just aiming for great trades, one and dones, 1 to $200 a day, this adds up. You could be done for the day. You just hit your goal in less than an hour. You made $200. Your investment was only $2,000, right? Now, actually, your investment was $1,000. That was a 20% winner. We paid $970 for those contracts. That was our investment. Less than $1,000, we made $200. That was 20% return in less than an hour, and you made a quick $200. That's not bad. So hopefully you guys were able to get out there, lock in some profits. Good job if you were. And now we just rinse and repeat. We find another good, low risk, high reward trade. And we just rinse and repeat, and we continue to add to the bottom line. So again, we were buying these contracts at 97 cents a piece times 10 contracts. So $97 per contract times 10 contracts was $970. That was the total investment here, was $970. We sold those contracts for $1.20 a piece. So we made 20% on the trade, which I never really look at percentages. But for those of you that do look at percentages, right, that was 20% return, or taking $970 and turning it into $1,200 in less than 1 hour. Be able to make, quick $200 on a really nice, low risk trade with a great reward. Now, did we leave money on the table? In 30 minutes, we may know. In 30 minutes, we could see this down at our target of $94.50, $94.40, and those contracts be worth $1.50 a piece. And be like, wow, that could have been $500, $600. But again, you have to manage your trade every single minute, every single second. You have to be looking at what the market's doing. What's the SPY doing? It's reversing. It wants to move higher. Off support. What's the Qs doing? Reversing. Double bottom. Off support. It wants to move higher. What do we know about the current market that we've been in this entire year? That stocks like Alphabet, Boeing, Netflix. Again, a lot of these stocks, 90% of stocks are going to correlate and move with the broader market, the SPY and the Qs. So if we see a reason to buy calls on the SPY and the Qs, we should not be in puts on Alphabet, because we're going to see Alphabet most likely move with the broader market, just like we would see with Apple, like we'd see with NVIDIA, like we'd see with like Meta, for example. 90% of the time, we're going to see that correlation nice and tight in this type of market that we've been in this year. So we see a reason to be getting calls on SPY and Qs, but yet we're playing puts on Alphabet. That's a reason to be getting out of that position, even though target wasn't hit. That was a reason to be getting out and locking in profits, doing the right thing, managing that trade, and just making sure that you're taking profits when, the market's telling you to get out and take those profits. So if anybody else was able to grab those put contracts as well, congratulations. Not a massive home run trade, but a base hit that will add up to home run trades at the end of the month. So congratulations there if you're able to grab those Alphabet put contracts with me and take it on down for about $1 a share, or about $200 for those 10 contracts. So congrats. And then SUNL may be getting ready for that swing trade. Like, look at SUNL. Like, SUNL's daily chart looks decent. It's not the best, but it looks decent for that possible gap fill up towards around 240 after that nice moving average squeeze formation. So definitely want to be watching SUNL here. I see some good potential with SUNL. So we'll keep that one on watch. Netflix, we don't have a reason to get in yet. AMD looks like it wants to move higher. We're out of this trade for now. It was a decent little winner. Trailing stop loss exists on contracts as well. I wouldn't recommend a trailing stop on options. I just personally wouldn't. It's really, really hard. Like on a stock, you can, right? On a stock, you can be like, all right, trailing stop underneath lows. The contract is going to correlate with the underlying stock, but not 100%, not exactly, maybe with like 90% accuracy, to where it may not be worth it to use trailing stops. If you're trying to automate your trading, right? It seems like maybe you're trying to automate your trading where you don't have to be sitting here. You can just kind of get in, set them, forget them. Probably not the best with options. Maybe try to do that with like physical shares. That'd be a lot easier, or futures contracts. And I remember talking to Matt with you guys about a month ago, a couple weeks ago. He used to automate his futures trading. Why does he not automate trading with options? Because the correlation is not 100%. And it's hard to automate that type of trading with options, as there's maybe 90% correlation between the option and the underlying asset that it tracks. So they do exist, but you may come to find out that it's just not worth it to you. That it's better to manage those trades in real time as they develop, like we just did with Alphabet.